This video was made in 2022. When I was a wee Hearthstone creator, I made a video called ranking all the Hearthstone expansions. This video has a 91% like to dislike ratio, which is not great. Basically what we're gonna do is not only am I gonna rate it currently how I feel about it, because I'm sure we're feeling a little bit different at this point in time. It's been a couple years. I'm gonna see what I said and cringe my fucking ass off, because maybe my opinions have changed and I don't even remember what I put on here. That's gonna be the most interesting thing. So we're gonna see what this is and then go from there. Oh God, like listen to my voice. Oh, do I want to do this?
Some are good, some are bad.
Dude, my voice sounds okay. Is my voice worse or better now? I feel like it's the microphone on this. I mean, it does not sound optimal. I'm gonna be completely honest with you.
And make sure you do your own tier list. I'll leave no
one cares about other people's tier lists. Hold on.
Questionable, but let's do a tier list for all of them. The way that I'm rating this tier list is based on how much enjoyment I got out of them. And make sure you do your own tier list. I'll leave a link in the description down below.
Oh,
and
so
while
nice
you're down
of you.
there, make sure you subscribe.
What
a lot
good
of you
creator.
aren't, and I would.
Holy God damn! Look at that, not subscribe to subscribe. What is it right now? Wait, give me a second. All right, we're currently at 50. We're basically 50-50 for not subscribed and subscribed. So we definitely got more subscribers at this point. Who's not subscribed to the channel that watches me, guys? Come on, come on. If you've been on this channel for a while, you know that I used to be an iOS developer and I have a degree in computer science. Yes, I promise you I'm not that stupid. But here's the thing, now that I've streamed Hearthstone for so many years, I kind of suck at it. Thanks for today's sponsor, boot.dev. I am finally able to get some of that knowledge back. Boot.dev is hands down the best way to learn how to do back-end development. Whether you're diving into Python, SQL, or any back-end language, this is the perfect website for you. Boot.dev knows that bored learners quit very, very fast. So they built their entire curriculum like an RPG. You'll learn by doing stuff that you'll actually be doing at a job, building real projects rather than just learning theory. As you code, you'll gain experience, unlock achievements, and go through a map where you legitimately feel like you're leveling up as a coder. And if you hit a wall with your code, they have a bot called Boots, a literal bear wizard, to help you get past your problems. And he doesn't just hand you the answer, he has full context of whatever lesson you're currently on, nudges you back on track so you can actually learn the concept. And they also just dropped the training grounds, which is basically an endless amount of challenges to help you get better at coding. Make sure you check out the link in the description down below or scan the QR code that's been on screen the entire time if you want to learn how to code in a great fun way. And make sure you use the code Rarran for 25% off your purchase. Thank you for boot.dev for sponsoring this video. Now back to this video. And I used to use these like random ass emotes for my videos instead of me, and I think I should go back because my ugly face won't be on all these videos anymore. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. Before I watch what I said, I'm gonna rate Hearthstone on its own, and then I'll watch what I said previously because I'm very curious what I ended up doing. I have a weird relationship.
Oh! Thinks Rarran can win versus a coyote.
That was so fucking loud. Hearthstone Classic for me, I think was interesting because I was not a good player during Hearthstone Classic. And I think a lot of people weren't because this was like basically my first real card game. Now that I've had more experience with Classic, because I did like the expansion series and we also had Hearthstone Classic and all this stuff, I feel like Classic was really good. Maybe that's like purely nostalgia, but I do feel like for what they did for, I don't even know how many cards it is. It was almost like a perfect card game. It's not a perfect expansion in my mind because there is a lot of bullshit still, but I think for like the issue when it comes to Classic is that because it was like my first introduction to a real card game, I feel like it gets a little bit of a bonus. I mean, I gotta put it an A. I think that's a really good expansion. I mean, it's not even an expansion. It's just like, if I was gonna make a base game for Hearthstone, I think that was a really good way of doing it. You have to give them a little bit of leeway here because I think when it comes down to it, it's really hard to make a perfectly designed game right from the very beginning. I mean, honestly, if Hearthstone right now is any indication, we're still haven't solved the problem that Classic, I guess, initiated with not having a perfect balancing system, right? There's always some nonsense. So I think A tier is fine. I think some people would put it in S, but let me see what I said about it.
Because when they first released the game, it was a complete game.
Dude, I've gotten so much better at speaking. Oh my God.
So a lot of the meta was already kind of solved in itself, where there was a lot of back and forth, a lot of interesting stuff to try out.
Editing.
It was a really well-designed game. Now, some of the stuff was pretty broken. Like Miracle Rogue is still extremely good. Power overwhelming. Zero Mana Soulfire was gross. But overall, there was a lot of broken stuff in that expansion. Or I guess in the classic set. So I'm kind of for
what am I putting it?
Putting it as an A, but I will.
Hey, no way! I'm the same guy.
To be honest, I do think that Hearthstone Classic gets a little bit of a pass because.
Hey, what the fuck? I said the same thing 6 years later.
It was the very first time Hearthstone came out, and I think a lot of us were just having fun regardless because it was a brand new game. The first expansion we had was Curse of Naxxramas, and even though it was a really small adventure, it did have a.
Okay, let's talk about Naxxramas. Guys, Naxxramas is kind of bullshit. I'm not gonna lie to you. When I think back on Naxxramas, and I think about what was added to the game, Naxxramas might have had one of the strongest power creeps we've ever seen in the game. Like, I'm talking, we got Undertaker, we got Haunted Creeper, we got Mad Scientist, we got Lothep. Like, all of those cards I just mentioned, maybe not Haunted Creeper, are playable today. Like, Naxxramas was kind of nuts in power. It was really good. I think the adventure of Naxxramas is what the bigger thing for me is. I really like the adventure. I wish they would still do them. It actually makes me really depressed they don't. So, I mean, in terms of card quality, like there's either like the S tier meta tyrants, or a lot of it is just kind of like you never saw them get played. There's a couple really good like staples, like with I forgot what that 4/6 elusive's called, but that card was fine. We just, me and this is a quick spoiler, me and Firebat did a video of like what would TGT be like now, and with all the changes, and like we just ran like every good Naxxramas card. Like, it was actually insane. It was so, I'm gonna put it in C. I don't know, like it's tough because I think Nax also gets a huge pass like Classic because of the fact it was the first expansion. But I think for me personally, like when I think of balancing and like overall just what the game became after Naxxramas was released, it had a lot of iffy things. And like, do we really want to live in a game or a meta game where like Lothep's played in every deck? I'm gonna raise it up for B for Adventure. I think the Adventure was really good.
Really big impact on what the game was with Nerubian Egg, Lothep, Sludge Belcher. Really most importantly, Undertaker Hunter was an extremely dominant deck. And I think honestly, because of how dominant it was, it kind of ruined the expansion. A lot of people look back at Curse of Naxxramas as like a really good moment in Hearthstone, but really was it? I don't remember it being like the best thing ever. It was really fun, and I think the solo adventure was one of the best aspects of it. The class challenges were great, but like overall, Curse of Naxxramas doesn't really like hold a really high bar for me. I think Undertaker Hunter really made me not want to play it as much as possible, and I'm gonna put it at like a B. I do think
what the fuck? There's no way, dude. That's so fucking funny. I literally can't believe I've done this same twice. Surely it's gonna change, right? Okay, GVG, man, GVG is another like expansion I think would just not fly currently in Hearthstone. It's probably some of the worst card design we've ever seen in Hearthstone is in the set. When I'm talking like Implosion, I'm talking like Crackle, like those cards are miserable. Dr. Boom, Boombot, RNG are also like, you know, it was fun at first, but then it gets really, really tiresome after a little bit. Dude, I feel like it was a good, I like spare parts. I did like the spare parts mechanic. I mean, when I think about Naxxramas, I mean, GVG, there's just so much stupid shit in that set. It's just so much nonsense. I think the main thing I think about when I think about GVG is how much people hyped up Trogzor, and then Trogzor saw literally no fucking play. They saw what they must have saw what Naxxramas was, and they're like, we're gonna spike the RNG up to infinity. Because I'm trying to think if there was any random card in Naxxramas. I don't think there was. GVG is way better than Nax, so you can't put it below. All right, we're putting it in C. I think GVG in hindsight is one of the worst design sets of all time. I'm gonna be honest. Like, it is not a fun, it's not a well-designed set in my opinion. I think it worked because there was a lot of wacky interactions and it made the game feel more fun. And like, depending on how you feel about randomness, but a lot of the cards were not fun to play with and against. I fucking hated Implosion. I think that's like, that is maybe the worst design card of all time.
Gnomes. And this set was really interesting because it had a really powerful neutral set. Dr. Boom, Piloted Shredder, Mech Warper. It basically enabled a lot of tempo decks, and some of the tempo decks were absolutely insane. There was a lot of poorly designed cards in this set. Implosion, Crackle, the Boom bots of Dr. Boom. I do remember the game being extremely hectic, and I think that's what made the game a little bit more fun. It was because it was just such a wacky experience at the time compared to what classic Hearthstone was. But I don't think the enjoyment was as good as classic Hearthstone. Probably about the same as Curse as Naxxramas. Just a really
this is a horrible take.
Ridiculous metagame. Next we have
no, that's a horrible take. It's not on the same level as Nax. There's no way. I remember GVG being fun. See, you gotta remember though, like I'm doing this years later when we have so much other Hearthstone under our belt at this point, and I'm trying to think about how I felt about it going into the set. But in my opinion, now that we've seen so much Hearthstone over the years, GVG is not a well-designed set. It's not. It is. I can't fucking stand it. And during that era, life was good, right? What did you got? Maybe some homework. You got like no responsibilities. You got no taxes to worry about. You're just living your best fucking life at that point, dude. Now it's like I gotta tax it. I don't worry about how my knees are doing. I also feel like the other thing about Hearthstone, especially in the early days, is that the community around the game made the game more fun than it was. Like I feel like watching Reynad or watching Forsen or watching Wreckful or all these people like made the game more fun because you were a part of like a community together. I truly believe if you go through the cards of what's in Goblins versus Gnomes, you're not going to be that excited. You wouldn't want it to play. You wouldn't want to play it again. I fucking love Blackrock Mountain, man. Now we're going from one of the worst to one of the best. Let's just get this first thing out of the way. The adventure for Blackrock Mountain is probably the best one. That shit's fire. That shit is so good. I do think Blackrock Mountain was like a really good power level. I think that's exactly where they wanted it to be. I feel like Grim Patron Warrior kind of slipped under the radar because obviously they didn't expect it to be that good. Thinking about this one, Solemn Vigil was great. Level Up was fine. Gang Up was, I mean, people loved Gang Up for a little bit there. Imp Gang Boss, the Goat, Axe Flinger was fine. I think it was at 5. Red Black Hand. I guess this expansion really comes down to how you felt about Grim Patron Warrior. I like Blackwing Technician a lot. It is a pretty good set. Not a lot of randomness. Again, this shit's really stupid. I really don't like that design. I'm glad they don't do that anymore. I don't think it's last year, but I think it's a good set. For what it was, did a good job.
Blackrock Mountain. And I'm gonna take a really big leap here and say this is one of the best times in Hearthstone.
Hey, I just said the same thing.
Even though most people will remember this as the Patron Warrior Day.
What's your overall thoughts about Grim Patron? I think the deck is awesome. I know I'm not gonna include this into the rating of the expansion. I've already put it down. But I feel like for me, this might have been peak Hearthstone competitive. Peak competitive Hearthstone is the way I should say it.
There was still a lot of variety and a lot of really cool things to try out. Emperor Thorson, Dragon Priest, the whole idea of going through the Molten Core was just so fun, and it made you just really appreciate the flavor that they put into this adventure.
The flavor was good.
An easy A tier for me.
What? I sounded like I was gonna put it in S. TGT is a really low power expansion. A lot of interesting designs in the set though, I will say that. This is also coming from a content perspective, and I wasn't even making content at the time. This is the most popular Hearthstone set of all time, Chad. This is it. And I feel like this is a culmination of the flavor of the set was really cool. And this is where like I just said, like competitive Hearthstone was at its peak. I really think competitive Hearthstone was really hitting its stride here. Think about the fact that the grand tournament was such a letdown. It was such a letdown. I guess the way they designed the set was they really felt like hero powers were gonna be the way, and that just turned out not to be the case whatsoever. Now, what are the highlights for TGT? Justicar, I think Nexus champion Siraj from that set. It's a D. I mean, Secret Paladin was just kind of asked to play. Like, the problem with Secret Paladin, I don't think was necessarily the deck itself. I think it's the fact that you played against it so much. Dude, I fucking love, okay, can I say this though? I love the design on this card. This is one of my favorite cards of all time. I loved it. What a smart design card. Such a beautiful card. This card was fucking miserable, by the way. Fuck this card. Warlock got one of the worst sets of all time. Is this really a D tier set? It's tough because you just think about what the set was trying to do and it just did not. I can't do this. No, I can't. It's got to be a D, right? It's got to be a D. Like I'm gonna give it like a little bit like of a cope that it's a high D, like it's a D plus in my mind. But let's see what I said.
Next, we have the Grand Tournament, and I think overall the Grand Tournament was okay. Wasn't super great, wasn't super bad, but I think the keywords,
brother, not super bad is crazy.
Failing was a huge aspect of it, but there was a lot of Secret Paladin due to Mysterious Challenger. It also really brought Dragon Priest into,
I love Chillmaw. I love that card,
which I was an absolute huge fan of. So because of just a card true art alone, I'm gonna put this at a high C.
I mean, the cynic in me nowadays is like they fully failed on what they wanted to do. Like they wanted this set to be the hero power set and it just did not happen. League of Explorers is a set where I think it depends on how you feel about Discover. I think Discover at this point in time was one of the best additions to the game. I think that's what League of Explorers comes down to. I think Reno Jackson is also one of the greatest cards to ever enter the game. I love a card that makes you think about your deck building decisions. And this is before we got a lot of the aggregate deck sites. And I just feel like there's just a lot of really good positives in this set. Like I mean, it's hard. The trailer was good, even though I'm not really rating it on the trailer necessarily. Let me see what else we got here. I just want to make sure there's no nonsense in this. The way I like about Discover in this set in particular is Discover was a trade-off of tempo. It was hard to have a card that was so efficient at Discover. Like this was maybe the best example. I think a lot of these cards have been changed. Oh man, this card was cinema. This card was what a good card. What a fun card to play with. Okay, but this is the problem. This stupid bitch ruined the game. But I don't think during this set. I think it was after rotation. But he was a motherfucker, bro. This guy, I hate his guts. Actually, was it during League of Explorers? But I think this is like an A tier. Like I might put this in S. I think this was a really good set for the game. This was a really good bounce back from TGT.
One of the more weaker expansions we've seen in Hearthstone. Next, we have the League of Explorers. And I think overall the League of Explorers was actually a really well done expansion.
True.
It wasn't super broken and it kind of came out of nowhere, which was really nice. And I really hope that Blizzard does that more often, where they just kind of drop random expansions.
They have not done that,
because it made the metagame a lot more interesting. Now, this is also the first time we saw Reno Jackson. Really fun idea for Highlander. At least Starseeker was cool. We got Sir Finley, which helped a lot of decks try different stuff. This was a really cool expansion. I think this is actually one of the more A tier adventures for sure.
I put it in A. In my opinion, when I think back on this set and how much I liked it, I don't think there's anything I would really dog. This was just a good set. The adventure was really good. All the cards added to the game were fun to play with for the most part. I think this is like, if I had to cherry pick an injection of cards into the game, I think this is like maybe the best one to pick. Oh, Old Gods. Old Gods had the benefit of having rotation. So at this point in time, GVG was rotated and so was Naxxramas. That meant when Old Gods was added to the game, a lot of the stupid nonsense was rotated out. So I think Old Gods had a huge leeway when it came to that. Old Gods was a really good set though, regardless. Really fun mechanics. I think all the Old Gods were fun to play with. Like I think if you look, like I just talked about how good the design of League of Explorer was. I think also Old Gods hits that as well. Oh, this is the first time we saw Evolve. Oh man, Warlock I think had a decent set. This card was nuts. Warrior had a great set, except for this card. ignore Tentacle Verbs. Thune was good. N'Zoth was fun. Yes, Yasharaj was great. And I mean, I guess it comes down to like how much did you like Yash? I think this set was probably one of the best ones. I think this was a good set. I mean, I guess it's like if you think about competitive as its own thing, it was kind of ass. There's that one tournament where it's like every game felt like it came down to Yogg-Saron doing its thing.
Whispers of the Old Gods was arguably one of the best time in Hearthstone. Now, the reason why Whispers was so good is because this is the rotation of Standard and Wild, where they rotated Nax and GVG out of Standard, which opened the metagame so much more. Whispers of the Old Gods was a really well done expansion too. The Old Gods themselves were really powerful and really unique. It really brought the game into a complete different direction. There was something for everyone. The meta was so varied in what it could do. Control decks were there, aggro decks were there. Not a lot of combo. Really well done expansion. And I honestly wish we can go back and try that expansion again for the first time because it was that good. S tier. Next we have One Night in Karazhan.
Okay, I'm not even gonna talk about this one. If you know, you know. This is the worst set of all time. I don't want to hear a single thing about this set. It was fucking miserable. If you don't remember what aggro shaman was, it was the worst fucking experience of my life. It was awful. It was awful. Arcane Giant ended up being pretty fun. Dude, this class like became just so obnoxious. It was so miserable to play this game. The theme was great. Trailer was fine. But unlike Curse of Naxxramas, I'm not giving them a pass on this one because it was so miserable to go against Shaman.
And honestly, when it comes to adventures, the flavor here was really well done. But the expansion itself was, it was definitely a really scary expansion. The problem with this is that there was a lot of really good cards that were super polarizing and a lot of cards that didn't do anything. Spirit Claws was... was a really good card. Barrens was an extremely frustrating card. We saw the rise of Discard Lock, Secret Mage, Secret Hunter, Unicorn Priest, am I right? I think generally speaking, like a lot of the cards were cool. This expansion was really, really powerful in the wrong ways, and I don't really remember being it super
What am I yapping about?
So I'm gonna give it like a...
What? See? Nah, shot, bro. It was, no, I'm picking, I would rather have the Grand Tournament of the Karazhan. Holy bro, there's no, I'm trolling.
Mean Streets of...
What? Okay, Mean Streets of Gadgetzan. Oh my God, this is a set that I think is also kind of controversial in its own way. So the majority of the set was aggro shaman. This is patches, right? This is when patches came out. Every single deck during Mean Streets of Gadgetzan, for the most part, wanted to play pirates because of how good Patches the Pirate was. And this card was also really good. I like the concept of Mean Streets of Gadgetzan. I like the idea of like the 3 tribe classes. I think that was really interesting. Unfortunately for me, or for a lot of people, like 1/3 of the cards were just unplayable garbage. I'm really trying to think to myself, like, did I hate this set? I didn't mind Pirate Warrior as much as I hated Aggro Shaman. I felt like it was a nice cleanse. I hated it too, the Jade Idol. Jade Idol in this current time though, I don't feel like was that devastating. This card, I feel like, okay, this is gonna sound really stupid for a lot of you, but I feel like this card gets a bad rap. I feel like for a lot of people just don't know when to concede. Like, so, you can't win every game, and I feel like the concept of your opponent constantly shuffling this into the deck and making larger and larger Jades is like really frustrating to watch. But the game's probably already over if you couldn't handle like the 6/6 or the 7/7, you know what I mean? Well, the problem was likely exacerbated by the set rotation. It was not particularly well received when it first came out, and it's tainted the meta with negative effects. Jade Shenanigans and now the Raza machine guns are both the result of Mean Streets. Vanilla was the worst. It created this entire mess. Many people, okay, many don't or can't remember GVG release. There we go, based, 100%. Yes, I agree with this take. No, you guys are wrong. I'm putting this in like C. Maybe B. You know what? I'm putting in C. I think C's fine. I have to dock it a little bit because one third of the cards were unplayable. 1/3 of the cards were ass. Like we got grimy goons were just, they were jerking in the corner, bro. I think also Patches the Pirate being left for that long was also really bad for the game.
Gadgetzan is the next expansion, and this expansion was extremely powerful. The Cabal with all the Highlander stuff. We saw the rise of pirates with Patches the Pirates. We saw a really interesting archetype of Jade Golems, which, you know, probably wasn't for the best. And we saw Grimy Goons, which didn't really do anything because it was just ridiculously slow. This was a really ridiculous expansion, and Druid and Warrior really took charge of the whole metagame. You see what I did there? Oh. My God, this expansion was not super fun, and it was super ridiculous. This is a C. Next, we have Journey to...
What was I yapping about right there? Hold on, whoa, that was so fucking
ridiculous
funny.
Expansion, and Druid and Warrior really took charge of the whole metagame.
Druid and what the fuck was Druid doing? I don't even remember Druid. What was Druid doing? Are you gonna tell me Jade was really that good during Mean Streets? Did I just not remember this? Okay, I mean, C's fine. I think that's fair. I think again, I'm basing that right off of like the card design of Grimy Goons being absolutely fucking atrocious. I really don't remember Jade. I just remember Patches. Okay, Ungoro. I loved Ungoro, man. Now okay, guys, let's just have a conversation here. When I'm talking about Ungoro, I'm gonna talk about the time where Quest Rogue was nerfed. Okay, everyone agree? We're gonna take the Quest Rogue and just put it over there for 1 second. Okay, we're gonna put it over there. Okay, great. Okay, awesome. Thank you for listening. I loved this expansion. The quests were fun. Adapt was fun. Thematically, the set was good. I feel like with the help of rotation, the game flourished. There was so much to do, so much to explore. You see what I did there? I loved it. Now, if you bring in quest here, if you bring in quest rogue, now all of a sudden, we have a huge problem. And this is the first time we truly saw how good for the rest of the game was gonna be. Because this is, I believe, like the first time they've ever really done it, where a quest fundamentally changed the game rather than you just getting like a really good minion or whatever. Oh my God, let's walk through this. Oh my God, Druid with Jungle Giants, Hunter with the Marsh Queen, 07 to Life Coach. Thought it was gonna be the best card of all time. Ended up being not that great. Oh my God, who could forget Open the Waygate Mage with Primordial Glyph? I mean, take me back, bro. Paladin with... Okay, I mean, like that card's fine, but like, I mean, wow. Sunkeeper Tarum. Oh my God. At least the Trailblazer and control decks. Who remembers opening the frickin' Ungoro pack? Oh my God. Hemet, crazy card. What a cool design that was for Bird Mage. And of course, the greatest of all time. I mean, it was crazy. You know what? Looking back on this set, it might be an A tier. There's a lot of positives when it comes to this set, but I mean, looking back on it, I think Whispers of the Old God was just a better set.
Journey to Ungoro. And just like Whispers of the Old Gods, the flavor in this expansion was legitimately one of the best ones. I thought the quest mechanic was really fun, even though a lot of them were extremely powerful. It didn't feel like it was unfun to play against unless it was Quest Rogue, which I know, Quest Rogue was ridiculous. Even the Quest Mage one was, but again, it just felt like a brand new game and the meta was just...
I will agree with that. Obviously, this is myself, so I'm going to back myself up. But I do feel like Ungoro, as much as there was a lot of nonsense in the set, it did feel like a brand new game. Like it felt different.
Wide open. There was so much things you can do. Silence Priest was a deck, so that was kind of cool. I just remember this expansion being really fun. It's an S tier for me. Next.
Yeah, I figured I was going to give it S tier. I think like it's probably an A+ to the lowest S for me. Okay, here we go. Beautiful. That's the way we're gonna do it here, because this shit was fire. It was fire in its own way. Okay, Frozen Throne. There's some stupid ass cards in this set that made this. Okay, this card, I fucking hated this card, bro. Aegonox was good. Malfurion was good. The rest of these cards, I mean, Cryptolord was kind of played. Priest got a really good set. Obsidian Statue, Anduin, Spirit Lash, all of those cards were really good. Eternal Servitude was good, and Sad Essence was good as well. This used to say give your weapon lifesteal, right? Because Kingsbane is next set, so they kind of got a lot of cards that didn't do a whole lot here, right? I mean, thematically, this set was good. There's a lot of like stinkers in here, though. A lot of stinkers in this set. That's the biggest problem with it. See, like you guys are talking about Druid during Mean Streets. I'm thinking about Druid during Frozen Throne. I fucking hated Druid during Frozen Throne. It was miserable to play against that shit. They hit you with the Wild Growth into Nourish into Ultimate Infestation. Like you're dead. Like you lost. Okay, so here's my thing. I think I liked Ungoro more than Frozen Throne. From what I can remember, Frozen Throne was fun, but there was a lot of shit from it that was not fun. And that it made Druid like a superpower. It was not great. Do I really think it's better than Blackrock Mountain? See, I don't know if I feel that way. I'm gonna be honest here. I think it's above Naxxramas. Like I think it was fine.
And honestly, people really like this expansion, but I don't remember it being super fun because...
That's what I'm saying! That's what I'm saying. 4 years later, I'm saying the exact same thing.
A lot of it felt like it was just covered by Shadow Reaper Anduin, and we also got Prince Keleseth in this expansion, so wasn't a super great time to be playing the game. Spreading Plague was also introduced, but I will give credit where credit is due. Adding the Lich King was really fun. Adding the new Death Knights was a really interesting mechanic because that was the first time we got hero cards. So there's definitely a lot of really cool stuff in this expansion, and I do think it was more fun than Mean Streets of Gadgetzan, so I will put it at B.
Damn, I give it a B. See, this is what I mean. See, this is why it's interesting, because there's no way I was sober during making this video. How the fuck did I put Knights of the Frozen Throne worse than Goblins versus Gnomes? I'm gonna leave it here for now. It might be a B for me. I'm gonna be honest. It might be a B. Okay, so Kobolds and Catacombs was the strongest Hearthstone expansion we have ever seen thus far. This was the expansion. And depending on how you feel about that is where we're gonna go with this. Now, the thing about Kobolds and Catacombs was it was really fun. Because of Dungeon Run. Easy S tier move. No, I'm kidding. Dungeon Run was great. I gotta get like a big reminder of what was in this set. Druid had a really good set. I like Druid set, okay. Hunter had a really good set as well. Okay, oh, I love the Spellstone mechanic. I loved it. Mage had a great set. I loved Mage set in this one. Not all playable cards. I think this card's really interesting. I think this card's so well designed. I fucking love it. Kingsbane was maybe a problem for a lot of people. But Kingsbane has the same thing as like, no, Kingsbane was actually really good. It was really good. Warlock set was chef's kiss, baby. Warlock got, oh, god damn, I think about it when great set. Cube, love the cube, love the darkness. Oh, this fucking card though. There's a lot of cheese in this set. That's the problem. There's a lot of cheddar in this set. Because the set was so powerful, it felt like there was so much to do. Like it felt so interesting. And like one of the benefits of Corridor Creeper being so strong is that it was nerfed pretty soon after everyone realized how good it was. And same with Spiteful Summoner. And the game felt so different afterwards as well. I'll put it in there. I think it was a good set. I really think Dungeon Runs was one of the most fun things I've ever done this game, and I wish they would bring it back. I really wish they would just add Demon Hunter and Death Knight to it, but we'll see what I give it.
Even though there was some really powerful stuff. So next we have Kobolds and Catacombs. And I think Kobolds and Catacombs was just a really powerful expansion that was, I guess, testing the limits of what power creeping can do, because this expansion was just bonkers, right? Recruit was really good. They introduced the weapons with Kingsbane and Skull Benari. The cube was really cool. I like that thing. Spiteful Summoner sucked. There was just a lot of really powerful stuff that made the game feel just absolutely ridiculous for no reason whatsoever. And I don't remember this expansion being super great because of how ridiculous it was. And I think recruiting is a little bit questionable, especially if you don't do it in the right way. I do think that this was worse than Moonkeys and Gadgetzan though out of sea. Next we have...
See, it's funny how much my opinion has changed based on what we've seen in Hearthstone for the past couple of years. That's really funny. Why did I subscribe to you 4 years ago? Like, good fucking question. Okay, the Witchwood. Now, this is the end of an era for a lot of people because this is Ben Brode's like last expansion. And Gen and Baku were some of the worst designs we've ever seen in terms of what it did to the game. Now, the benefit of the Witchwood was that we got Rush. Let me see the set. Let me see what we got. Well, let's see what we're cooking with here. I think Rush was the entire set, to be honest with you, but let me double check because like this card was good. This card was good. This card was good. So that's fine. Toki. Black Cat was playing it in the other deck. Rogue got a great set. Rogue got Tess and Spectral Cutlass. Rogue had a really fun set, to be honest. Shaman. I mean, we all know Shaman. I think this, for the record, by the way, I think this card is one of the best design cards in the game. I really like Hagatha the Witch. If I could have a Lord Godfrey body pillow, I think I'd buy it. Every single day when I have sex with your mom, I say this will be a messy killing. I can't put it in D because of Rush. So I think it's here. Like, it's not a really well designed set for the most part. It could, like, I think this is fine.
Have the Witchwood, and the Witchwood will be forever remembered as Baku and Gen, and that's virtually it.
Sure, facts, no facts. Like I'm so based here.
Shudderwalk was there, but that's not really what you were worried about in this expansion.
I mean, that's cope, but whatever.
I think this is one of the worst expansions we've ever seen. I actually did a whole video on it that I recommend you watch.
Hey, I did a video on it.
Leave it in the description down below.
What was that video called? I didn't even leave it in the description. Oh my God, I'm the worst creator of all time.
But the main reason was just because Baku and Gen really set the stage of what the year was going to be like. The expansion itself was rather weak. It didn't really have a lot of really redeeming qualities. I do think Monster Hunt was pretty fun. I remember
Monster Hunt was, I think, worse than the other adventures, or worse than Dungeon Run at least.
I remember playing that a lot, but Standard absolutely sucked. This is the first D.
Nah, man, it's not like, listen, Witchwood was bad, but it wasn't this. It's not that. It's not Karazhan. Karazhan honestly might go in its own fucking thing at this point. I hated that set. What was I doing, man? Boomsday. Okay, Boomsday. Let me look at the cards, actually. I need a full reminder of what Boomsday is. Hold on. Biology was fun. Floops was fun. Oh, Druid had a fun set. Oh, Mech Hunter was fun. Right, guys? Ludo's Pocket Galaxy. I believe it was like 9 mana at this time or some shit. Was it 7? Yeah, it was 7. And they buffed it to 5. Astromancer was goated. Love this card. It was so fun. Kangar's Endless Army, so that was more max. We got Test Subject Priest, which is fun. And Xerox Cloning Gallery was also really interesting. Hold on a fucking second. What mana crystal was this at? 5? Was it at 5? It was some fucking nonsense this set was at. I think it was at 5. Hey, we got Whizbang. I forgot about Whizbang. And the Boomsday puzzles was good. This one is kind of like, I feel like, again, it's at this point, this one was kind of overshadowed by like what Gen and Baku were doing. Also, You have to think about all the cards that came out the previous year. I feel like Boomsday really never reached its potential. Like the cards have to be so good for you to see any of the plays. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, it's probably like a B. Like it's fine. Like I don't know. Like whatever. it's like Naxxramas. Like it just has some good cards in it, and a lot of the cards are kind of just there. Thematically, good set. I mean, it is what it is. I feel like this one's just kind of whatever. I don't really have strong feelings towards the Boomsday.
The Boomsday Project, and the Boomsday Project was an interesting one. There was a lot of really powerful stuff in this expansion. Dr. Boom, Mad Genius, Ziliax, Mech Hunter was a huge aspect of.
Hold on. So like, this card, again, wasn't very good during the set.
Mech Hunter was a huge aspect of it. We did get Mechathune, which did introduce a lot of interesting combo decks in the format. We also got the Puzzle Labs, which I think is one of the most...
I do think Puzzle Labs are goated. I actually do think they are goated. They're very fun
additions to Hearthstone ever. But generally speaking, the Boomsday Project actually managed to have an impact after what the Witchwood brought to us with Gen and Baku, even though there was still a bunch of odd decks in the format. I do think that the Boomsday Project was like kind of in the middle of the pack. It had some...
True.
Think for everything. I don't think it was necessarily broken. I don't think it was necessarily weak. I thought it was just a pretty good expansion overall. Next we have Rastakhan.
Let's go. Right on the money, baby. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. All right, Rastakhan's Rumble. All right, so the question is, did we think Rastakhan's was a better set than the Grand Tournament? Because again, like the Grand Tournament, I have to give it the exact same criticism. Everything they went for just did not pan out. There's like one card I think I was like happy with, and that was about it. There's just so much poo in this set. It's crazy. Like, are we fine if I just put it here and move on? Do we want to speak about Rastakhan? I don't think we need to. I feel like there's not a lot to say about the set. There's not a lot of redeeming qualities.
Rastakhan's Rumble is just so forgettable. Overkill was just, what a mistake of a mechanic that was. A lot of the stuff in this expansion was just really bad. Didn't make an impact whatsoever. And it basically just took the best cards of this set and just kind of put them into the already good decks that we already had. I will say Akar and Shrivala are two of my favorite legendaries of all time, but the set was just too weak to see any play. The flavor was really good, but unfortunately for Rastakhans, it's a D. Next we have Rise of Shadows, and
it's a D. Okay, I'm gonna start by saying this before I go to the next expansion. Rise of Shadows. Guys, this is my favorite year of Hearthstone. I'm gonna be very biased going in. The more I think about this year as we get older and my knees are starting to break, I think this year was so good for the game. But the thing about Rise of Shadows was, like, it's funny because we're going to see this probably coming up very soon with Cataclysm. The three older sets that are in the format right now are not incredibly powerful. So Cataclysm is probably going to enter the game and just wreck shit up and be like the Rise of Shadows equivalent. I did not like Draconic. I felt like Draconic was really where we lost it a little bit in the sauce, but that's the Descent of Dragons. But I think overall, this was a really good set. I'm really happy with this set. I really like it. I really like the theme. I think they did a really good job. It was a good redemption arc overall. I'm gonna put it probably like in high B, because the next set is my favorite set of all time.
Rise of Shadows was a really cool expansion flavor-wise and introduced this year-long thing between the League of Evil and the League of Explorers, which I thought was really cool. But the biggest issue with this expansion was that it introduced lackeys. I hated that mechanic. I legitimately thought I
don't know if I feel as strongly as I used to about the mechanic. I think it's fine. We've seen worse. I just feel like some of them were so much better, man.
Mechanic was one of the worst ones we've ever seen. It just led to a lot of really ridiculous games because they were super impactful. And then the metagame was like, the first half was all aggro rogue with evil miscreant at 5 health. And then we got control warrior for the rest of the expansion. Not super great. I actually think it's one of the worst expansions
I'm putting it in.
Played.
Nah, bro, I'm gonna take a walk. I'm gonna go pee. I gotta walk that off. That's heresy. No shot. I can't believe that shit. I can't believe what I just wrote. Okay, chat, I'm gonna talk about the best set of all time, and this is on God. Savers of Uldum is the S tier expansion for me. I think this is when Hearthstone peaked. And don't fucking at me in this chat. This expansion had everything. Tempo, combo, Highlander, quest, anything was playable. It was phenomenal. The soul adventure was good. The theme song of the set is so good. The theme, just the theme in general was great. It was so fun. It was so fun. Like the only problem with this set was they decided to do like the Tombs of Terror, which brought back cards from older sets, and they didn't want to balance it for some reason. So it kind of ruined the game at the end there. Left a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth. But other than that, this set is perfect. Like, let's go through the glory date. Like, there's nothing that speaks like this is broken. This is maybe the least fun card in the entire set, and it wasn't even that bad. And then Hunter had a fun quest line. Mage had a goated quest line. So much fun. Paladin was fun to play with, like making, oh, I mean, Reborn was, I mean, this set was kind of fun, but they had a playable deck. Priest was so fun. Dude, Priest with the Tempo Priest deck was so fun, man. I love that Tempo Priest deck with Ahmed and Baswamsters from the last set. Rogue with Bizarre Burglary, like it wasn't great. Corrupt the Waters, oh my God, so freaking fun, bro. Holy man. And we had the ill nasty Mogu Flesh Shaper into Evolve for 0 mana for Shaman, great. Warlock's quest was so fun, it was great. Warrior had such a fun set as well. I mean, I could go on and on about this set. And then we get this card. Depending on how you feel about Zephyrus, I think Zephyrus is such an interesting card. Now, I do think that they should have made it, if your deck started with no duplicates, that would have been maybe a little bit better. This is, I think, the greatest Hearthstone has ever been, and I don't know if we've ever caught back up to this moment. And I want to go back to this time and experience it again.
Next, we have Sabers of Uldum, which introduced us back into Highlander cards. We saw Zephyrus, we saw a bunch of quests again, which were really fun. And honestly, this was a really good expansion in terms of what it brought to the game. A lot of variety, different ways of playing the game. There was Combo Priest, which was like an aggro deck that was pretty fun to play against, but it had a lot of moments where it would just win the game. Once that deck was kind of nerfed, we saw the meta game kind of open up quite a bit. And I think even though there was a lot of rough moments in Sabers of Uldum, it ended up being a really fun expansion at the end, and I really enjoyed it. I actually think it's one one of the A tier.
No, I'm reporting this video. No, I'm reporting it. No. This is promotes terrorism. That is crazy. That is fucking what is this? This is the worst YouTuber of all time, by the way. Oh my God, that was the dumbest take I've ever seen him.
You are forgetting the most important expansion of all. It is the expansion that happens in the front of my shorts when my favorite bald streamer blesses me with his wisdom and insight into what was better, Karazhan or Grand Tournament. This content gets me going so much I had to take a moment to go to the bathroom myself, if you catch my drift. I cannot wait until you let me know how you feel about Nathria and my favorite card ever, Big Daddy D and his Mega Suck. Till all are one.
Say his Mega Sock? I like it when Optimus like starts rapping a little bit. Like, you see how fast he goes? Did you say sock? Hey, Descended Dragons. Guys, now the thing about this set was, and I could be wrong here, I feel like this set had so much to do, just like Kobolds and Catacombs. Galakrons were interesting. Dragon Queen Alexstrasza left us some of the craziest moments of all time. I'm talking Big Daddy Kronks coming into play and then drawing your Galakron and doing a devastation. Shaman was released in a fucking mental state. It was broken. Oh my God, I loved Warlock set. I loved it. Warrior was so fun too, man. Got a 1-mana 2/2, which was a pretty gnarly. Albatross was kind of goated. Most importantly, I have to mention this. I'm not talking about mini sets. When we got the mini set for this expansion, we were introduced to Risky Skipper, which was the most pivotal card going into Demon Hunter. And we'll talk about that in 1 second. I think Descended Dragons was a very fun set to play with. A lot of broken shit, but kind of in the same vein as Kobolds and Catacombs, where it felt like there was a lot to do. I'm gonna put Knights of the End there. I don't know if it was good.
Mansions. Also, the cinematic is beautiful. Next, we have Descent of Dragons, and I think a lot of people forget how powerful this expansion was. It introduced us to Galakron, and Galakron Shaman was really good for a couple weeks there. It introduced us to Dragon Queen Alexstrasza, which was just ridiculously powerful. Remember when it could discover itself? That was something. There was Necrim Apothecary Rogue, which was extremely...
Now this card was something special. Hold on a second. Now I might have to go. Now I gotta move you down a little bit. You might be a B tier. That card sucked.
Ridiculous to play against, and it felt horrible to lose to. Generally speaking, this expansion was just insanely powerful, but there was a lot of really fun stuff to do. And I think even though the decks were just extreme and there was so much chaos, this expansion was fun. It reminded me a lot of Knights of the Frozen Throne.
Bro, what is with you in Knights of the Frozen Throne? It wasn't that good.
Wacky expansion where there was just a lot of stuff to do. So it's going in the B tier.
What I put it. Hey, Ashes of Outlands. Let's start off with the positives. All right, let's go to the negatives. Demon Hunter is set. I hate this class with all my fucking heart. But the thing is, as much as I don't like the class, I think adding Demon Hunter to the game was good. Chat, this is the expansion I hit rank 1 in. I hit rank 1 legend in here. And I did that because of Risky Skipper and Enraged Warrior. This was the only time I could say that I was better than any other person on the server. But we have to ask ourselves, when it comes to a Hearthstone expansion, do I only want to play against one class for the majority of the expansion? And I think for a lot of people, the answer would be no. I feel like Ashes of Outlands had a huge momentum going into it, because people are like, oh my God, Demon Hunter's being added to the game. It's COVID time, baby. I don't know if anyone said COVID time, baby, but like, they're like, I got nothing to do. Let me queue up some Hearthstone. It's been 2 million years since I played that game. I remember when the Serious Challenger came out, and I think a lot of people decided to leave very shortly after seeing what Demon Hunter was able to do. We have yet to see a deck that has been as strong as aggro Demon Hunter was relative to other cards in the expansion. And depending on how you feel about that, that's what this whole set was. There was not a lot to do. For me, the thing is, as a content creator, this was a really big deal for me, because I don't know if I would be here today if it wasn't for Ashes of Outlands.
We have Ashes of Outlands, and quite honestly, this expansion was just Demon Hunter, or you're playing Enraged Warrior for a majority of it, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, considering
it was a bad thing
during that. Well, Demon Hunter was a brand new class, and it added a lot new.
Okay, Old Rarran, you make up a good point. So I talked about how with Kobolds and Catacombs, it was nice that the expansion was extremely powerful. Same thing for Demon Hunter, and we saw this kind of happening with Death Knight when it came out, where like Death Knight was released in a state where it was just not very good, and that kind of made me flaccid, because you want the new class, you want the cards to be fun and exciting. And Demon Hunter was released in such a state where it's like you need to be, you were basically forced to interact with it, regardless if you liked it or not, which is maybe better for the game. So you know what, I'll move it up here. I'll move it up here before I see my final rating.
Qualities to the game, but if you did not like Demon Hunter, you were probably not playing Hearthstone at the time. So it's an extremely polarizing expansion, especially because, well, Demon Hunter was really good for a lot of it. So because of how strong Demon Hunter was, and because there wasn't a lot of variety to this expansion, it's probably like a high C, I would say.
What the fuck? Pre-watch for sure, bro. That's fucking crazy. I even moved it up to the exact position. Scholomance Academy was, I believe, a really good set. And at the follow-up, Demon Hunter was maybe the biggest concern. So the power level of this set was really good. There was a lot of nonsense here as well, but I think every class was at least playable. Demon Hunter had a lot of really interesting. I mean, I kind of like the soul fragment mechanic, so that was fun. Lightning Bloom was a motherfucker. Oh my God. And this card was one. Who fucking made this card, bro? This card was so stupid. Remember, it was 2 mana, and then you just basically stop your opponent from playing the game. This card was nuts too. I mean, I guess it's like this set. Okay, the way I can describe this set, I feel like, is the set felt inspired, right? Like, there's a lot to look at this set and be like, man, like there were so many things to do. Like, just kind of like Descent of Dragons. Like, shit was powerful as hell, but there was so much to do, man. And like, yeah, there's some nonsense here and there for sure. I believe Darklayer was from this expansion. I don't know where it is. I think I'm gonna be able to put this in probably A. I think it was like right next to Descent of Dragons.
Scholomance Academy is our next expansion, and this expansion, in my opinion, is the strongest expansion we've ever received. There was so many.
Strongest expansion we've ever received during this time. Was Scholomance the strongest expansion? It definitely was good. It was a good set. Maybe I'm coping a little bit on that one.
Good quality cards. Almost every single class had a unique archetype to try, and I feel like even though the game was so extreme, this is when Hearthstone was almost at its most fun in a very long time. Just so much ridiculous stuff.
Oh, I've had to do drugs before I did this video. I don't know if I agree with that.
It felt like every single type of archetype had a chance, maybe not as much attrition anymore. It was kind of wacky. Guardian Animals dominated, but because of the new development team, they were nerfing extremely quickly. So there was just a lot of different stuff to try. And I don't know, there's something special about Scholomance Academy. Maybe it's the flavor, maybe it's the Spellburst keyword, which I really thought was a well-designed keyword.
I like Spellburst a lot.
By the way, I really like Spellburst. Really powerful, and don't get me wrong, I think there was a lot of stupid stuff in it, but the stupid stuff really just you know, match the other stupid stuff. And I think if everything is just stupid, nothing's stupid, right? So I'm gonna give Scholomance Academy an A.
Hey, Lamau. I mean, different reason, but I mean, I'm there for it. Zane, what's up, man? We're doing well. There's a lot of cards that would stop me from putting it into an S tier. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's just some design failures that are just too much to ignore. Darkmoon Fair. When I put this in D tier, would you guys be mad? Let me tell you why. Let me explain. This card has committed war crimes. I'm gonna go like C. I think it was fine. I don't think it was a very good set. Oh, whatever.
Yeah, maybe a B. Actually, a B sounds better. Our next expansion is Darkmoon Fair, and honestly, Darkmoon Fair was just not really an expansion because all it really did was just add to existing archetypes. It did bring back the old gods, which I think was really fun, but because the powerhouse that was like Demon Hunter and basically the really good decks from Scholomance Academy stayed around, they didn't really get a huge chance to shine. It felt like this expansion was just kind of padding existing dects, almost like Rastakhan's Rumble. The corrupt mechanic I think was kind of cool. Theme was fine. It added some interesting stuff like Silas Darkmoon, but overall it wasn't super impactful, and I felt like it just kind of was there. So probably around a C. I don't know. I think like I can maybe put it as a B, but I think it's around a C.
Yo, what? I'm literally the same dude as this guy who made this video. Where's the Barrens, and Storm and Fractured Alterac Valley? We can kind of get through really fast. Okay, this one. I don't know if I need to. I'll hear what I have to say. I think the last expansion in this video, by the way, is United and Stormwind for me. Forge of the Barrens was kind of the worst way to start a year. Keyword Frenzy was fine, but there was like only like one card that really wanted it, and that was basically it. And that was like the Octo dude. And we also got Renew Priest, which depending on how you feel about that was not a very enjoyable experience. I got beta by Warcraft Lore. Yeah, I feel like this entire set this entire year kind of depends on how you feel about Warcraft Lore. Let me just double check. Oh, fuck this fucking ass card, bro. Conviction was so nasty. Rogue got a decent set though. I'll say that. Shaman got a set of all time. They got a really good draw card for the first time ever. This is out of all the sets in the year, this is probably the least offensive one. I'll put it in C. I don't think very fondly of it. I don't think it was very fun. It didn't set the tone right. Also, from a creator standpoint, this was the first time I really saw a huge drop in viewership. So I don't know if that is going to be partially my bias here, but Stormwind also was my, we'll get the Stormwind in a second.
I think it's around here. Forge of the Barrens is our next expansion. This introduced us to the Frenzy keyword. We saw the mercenaries for the first time, and generally speaking, this expansion was a lot more wide open than Darkmoon Fair was. It felt like there was a lot of different stuff to try, but it ended up being a really weird metagame because Control Priest, which generated card after card after card, was the top dog for an extremely long period of time, which a lot of people did not like. And I think the idea was that they wanted to go away a little bit from like what Scholomance Academy was. It wasn't a super enjoyable expansion at the end, even though you could try a bunch of stuff with the limited card pool and basically what the game was doing at the time. I think a lot of people stopped playing near the end of Forge of the Barrens. Yeah, I don't think Forge of the Barrens was a super well done expansion, but it was definitely not the worst. I think it was probably like a C. It was basically like Demon Hunter, but like the reverse of it.
Okay, I don't know that. So Barrens was like Deck of Lunacy was what it was at the start, and then they nerfed that shit because it was too good. Let me just add a new row below, then we'll just type this one. What the fuck? Okay, so United in Stormwind is the worst set Hearthstone has ever had in this game. I do not care what you have to say about this set. I think they look back on this set very poorly, especially because we got Ungoro 2 Electric Boogaloo, and they basically said to us that they don't want quests to be good. Like, that's where we're at. There is no redeeming qualities in this set other than one thing. Discard. Interesting take, Rarran. Top legend players think Stormwind's family. Okay, that's so cool that they should go make their own tier list. I have made, hold on. If you want I'm not going to go into this because I have made a video. It was the start of last year. I believe I called it the expansion that almost killed Hearthstone. If you want to see this video, you can go watch that video, because that's the video I talked about where it's like how I felt about that expansion, why I felt like it was so bad, and all the problems with it. Tradable was a good mechanic. I'm still putting in what the fuck. If you like this set, that's awesome. More power to you. This is the first time as a content creator, by the way, that I said to myself, I don't think I can do this for if this was what the game was going to be like. I really sat down on my desk and said, do I really want to sit here and play this game if this is what it's going to be like? And also, I will say this, because I don't know if I mentioned it in the other video. If you go look at YouTube viewership for Stormwind, it is like the lowest Hearthstone has ever had. If you like combo, more power to you. Horrible set. I think this is the worst expansion Hearthstone's ever had.
United Stormwind is our next expansion, and this introduced us to the questline mechanic, and it basically introduced us into a metagame where it felt like you had to kill someone or you were just gonna die. There was no room for slow type decks, and this was a metagame that was purely based on combo decks. If you like combo decks, then this was probably a really good expansion for you. But my overall enjoyment was at probably the lowest it's ever been, because I did not want to play Hearthstone at all during this time. And I think a lot of the casual people can probably agree with me that this expansion felt like there wasn't a lot of room to do anything you really wanted to. This is probably a D for me. This actually is probably worse than the Witchwood for me, honestly.
It is worse than Witchwood, and looking back on it, it's even worse. I don't know how you guys feel about Fracture in Alterac Valley. Me personally, the only thing I really remember is that stupid ass snowfall dude for Shaman. I wasn't really playing the game. One of you guys are gonna have to tell me what it was like during the era of Alterac Valley, because if you go to my YouTube channel, hold on, holy fuck, I played Mercenaries. Man, the art for Mercenaries was kind of goated. Pretty good thumbnails too for the goat. All right, and then I made an update. So after Mercenaries died, I made an update. And that's when I started doing a lot more variety, or what I basically became to this moment. So if you want my Joker, why I became the Joker, this is why. Every time I lose Disenchant to Legendary, what the fuck was I smoking? Hearthstone, but I can't use cards with the letter T. I should go through these videos and see what I've done. Take a shot every time I lose on Hearthstone. Oh God. How did you guys feel about Stormwind? I will just put it wherever you guys feel like. I feel like this is also the end of this video, right?
Fractured in Alterac Valley is the last expansion on this list. And honestly, Fractured in Alterac Valley was a lot better than I expected it to be, because while United Stormwind was just ridiculous, this tried its absolute hardest to probably, you know, bring control decks back into
Cope, I'm not even listening to this clown anymore. I'm fucking done. Now redo the shots video, but don't stop until you hit legend. Can you imagine? Okay, thankfully now I don't have to watch that fucking idiot Rarran yap for like 5 million years. Voyage into the Sunken City was a return to form for Hearthstone, and in some ways is probably people's savers of Uldum for them. That had a phenomenal trailer, just for the reference. Really, really good one. But Colossals were fun. I think, oh, what is the expansion? Oh my, what's the keyword? Dredge was such a great keyword. I love Dredge. Loved it. There's a lot of highlights for this set. I also don't remember a lot of nonsense. Basically, when I look at a Hearthstone set, I ask myself how much stupid shit was there. I don't think there was a lot of stupid shit. Okay, hold on. First Demon. Okay, if we ignore Demon Hunter, what do we have? Good set other than this card, but we can allow it. Combo decks need to exist. There's not a lot that speaks out to me like this is some bullshit set. So I mean, I remember the highs much more than the lows. Can we just remove Demon Hunter from the game? That'd be great. I think this is like an 8 tier, to be honest with you. I think this is like really, I think this is just like, it might be on Goro. No, I'll put it down. I'll come back on this one, because this one I think has a lot of questions. Like, it was a very good set. Castle Nathria, I think, is also a really good expansion. There's some stuff in this set, like every other set, that has a lot of stupid shit, but I want to talk about one card in particular here. Well, okay, let's get the biggest elephant in the room real fast. This card was a little stupid. Giving a neutral win condition that was this powerful to the game in its original form was not great. Every game came down to Sire Denathrius being played, and I mean, that's not fun. Like, we don't want games like that. That's not, especially in Druid. Like, we don't want that shit. After Sire Denathrius was like nerfed to what he is right now, I feel like the game was in a really good spot. This is, in my opinion, over the last, I mean, basically, I guess until Reno, or like the original Reno came out, this is the maybe the most impactful card we've ever seen. And I don't know if we will see a card like this ever again. This card was awesome. I hope they take some of the design that Renethal was to the game and they work with it a little bit more. I think this card single-handedly makes this set so good. I think you want cards that for a majority of people, it positively changes the game. And like we can nitpick some stuff in this set, don't get it wrong. I don't think it's perfect. Again, we talked about Sire Denathrius. This card at 4 was a little insane. I don't know why they printed this card. I think it was at 7 mana when we should have learned from Kalthas original. Honestly, hold on a second. I forgot about Kalthas. Sunstrider from original Ash of Outlands. I don't know what the hell they were smoking with that card. I'll leave it. I will leave it in A. Prince Renathal merely makes me want to put it up in S, but I think it's an A tier set. I think it's a very good set. Very good set. Also, I should mention as well, I can't believe I didn't talk about it. I think locations have been one of the greatest things they've added to the game. It had to be such a task to develop a new type of card that fit into Hearthstone so nicely. It was like a puzzle piece. It just slotted in. Beautiful design, beautiful, elegant. That's exactly what you wanted to do. Really well done. You know, honestly, fuck it. We're putting this as S. Renathal in locations. I can get over everything else. Okay, March of the Lich King, I think really comes down to how you feel about Death Knight as a class. I think Death Knight is a really well-designed class. Like, I think they fucking killed Death Knight. I think they did such a good job. And it keeps on delivering. Like, I just feel like even though the rune system isn't optimal and it's not like a super, it does limit the decks a little bit. I just think it's been immaculate. And I feel like this has become the best class for a lot of new players. People love Death Knight. Now I just got to remind myself what was in this set. As far as I remember, Nubercon was a little fucking stupid. The brand Druid is just like Druid is always doing some fuckery, bro. I don't remember this set other than Death Knight. I'm gonna be honest. Demon Hunter was the most OP during this set. Was he broken during this set? There was this the thing with Thaddeus where you would rip the yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. Now I'm getting the flashbacks here. I mean, I think this is another set where it's like you kind of really lean into how you feel about the design of the class. I don't really remember this set too much either, which is kind of insane to think about. There was a lot of nonsense, but it's not like Nathria where I think I'm fine with B. I'm fine with B. I'm around here. Okay, Festival of Legends is when Tony was released, and I love Tony. Jailer Druid was so fun, man. What else was in this set? It's weird how like a lot of these years, it's hard to find like the most notable cards. Like it's hard to remember them. Oh yeah, Hero Power Druid was a thing. MC Blingtron, bro. Ugh. Warlock had a good set. I really liked Warlock's set for this. No, but I mean, again, it's kind of like March of the Lich King where it didn't feel like it was super broken or anything. I'm kind of down. Titans had the Titans in it, chat. I didn't like this set for one reason. This is some fucked up shit right here. I remember feeling like this was like I was in despair, bro. I think Warrior had a great, like looking at all the cards, Warrior had a great set. Warlock, I think, had a pretty good set. Forge of Wills was very good. Odin was the only reason you could do the Damage Adventures. Odin was very important. Yeah, I would agree. Odin was really important. I just think this card is. And for that reason alone, I'm gonna have to put it in there. I could maybe put it higher. There's I don't know. There's a couple of really stupid shit. Okay, high B. There's a lot of some stupid shit in this set. I'm not gonna lie to you. Showdown in the Badlands, dude. I love this set, and I will forever remember this set because I remember going to BlizzCon and talking to Edward, who is the guy who designed it, and he said to me, "What do you think of this set?" And I said, "This looks pretty bad." But at that point, they only showed neutrals. And I felt so bad saying that to him in hindsight. I felt so bad because I think this set ended up being really good. I really like the excavate mechanic. I think that was great. I think quick draw is fun for the thematic, and some of the cards ended up being really good. I think every class had something playable at some point during this entire set, which is great. I mean, Druid is obviously doing some Druid stuff, and there's like the Azurite Snake is a good example of something that's been was a little egregious and probably not fun to play with. But like, bro, are we really gonna sit here and tell me this isn't like peak cinema? And like, yeah, I mean, Reno's a bit silly. Don't get it twisted. Very strong card. I think this set is like a perfect example of like stuff being very good and very, very fun to play with. Everything. I think every class had something playable to do, which is like the most. Maybe the highest bar you can achieve. Yeah, I'm about it. I love this. I think this set's great. I think there's like an A tier for sure. Very well. Maybe not. We'll leave Classic alone. I think Classic deserves to be there. Dude, Whizbang's Workshop is okay. Whizbang Workshop. We're growing into standard territory now. This set was gross for Hunter for a little bit here. They had a lot of really good cards. Ew, King Plush at the beginning of this was so gross. And Buff Paladin ended up being good at some point. Zarimi at fucking release, man. This is what a stupid card to add to the game, for the record. Wheel of Death was interesting in its original state. What was happening? I'm like blacking out. I really am. I'm really blacking out on what we got. Renathal, I feel like, was really positive for the game. Ziliax is isn't he like the most nerfed card of all time? I feel like this is not the set I wanted for 10 years of Hearthstone. I wanted something else. Okay, Perils of Paradise. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, for the next couple of sets here, it's pretty much gonna be the exact same rating for me. I feel like this is where I kind of stopped liking the game as much as I used to. The cheese dragon was really good. Dude, can we talk about this card for 1 second? I think this card's horribly designed. It's a fucking mess. I don't know what the hell they were thinking with this one. What were they doing with this one? This one's crazy, bro. I feel like this card is so, like, this card is just everything I don't want about Hearthstone. Warrior just never really did anything with this set, I feel like. I mean, they kind of actually ended up doing something with food fight, right? With the dragon. I feel like it's just hard because this set I feel like was very underwhelming. I'm not a huge fan of this set. I'm gonna be honest. It's probably like a low C. I mean, they're probably all gonna go C. Okay, I didn't play during the Great Dark Beyond because I was playing the Bazaar. Let me tell you what happened. For those of you who are not aware, Raynaud released his game in closed beta, and that shit was the most fun I've had in like time. So I played that shit nonstop. That's all I did for the release of Dark Beyond. I did get back into it when more into it, I should say, when StarCraft was released. And StarCraft, I think, is gonna be one of those sets where like you think back on it very negatively, but during its release, I think people really liked it. So, I mean, depending on how you feel about StarCraft, because I feel like that's going to be the huge focal point here. A couple of like the bigger outliers for the Great Dark Beyond is like the C6 Expanse was really cool. And I think the Discover card for Hunter was great, but I wasn't really playing, so I'm going to have to put it here. StarCraft, I think, like puts me in like probably like a B or a C because I think the StarCraft cards are interesting. So this year, okay, this is why I thought this would be interesting to do because we're right before Cataclysm. But I think this year is kind of the same year that we saw with Witchwood, Boomsday, and Rastakhan's. It feels like this year has kind of been this set of like I want to call it intentional. Last year, I feel like most of these sets didn't do a whole lot. And that's why this is such a weird time in Hearthstone, because if we really look at all the sets that we've got, most of the cards felt like they did not really do anything and they only reinforced the stuff from the previous year. There's a couple stuff here and there that was really interesting and cool. Maybe Into the Emerald Dream is probably the best example of this because I do really think Dark Gifts were great. But I feel like this expansion is going to really shine going into the next year. I feel like this is where it's going to really be like, yippee. I feel like this is the point where it's like, I kind of have to, I think I'll put Emerald Dream like probably like a C, maybe like a low B, but I think it has a chance to go up. What did Ungoro get? Like, hold on, let me go check. What cards are playable from Ungoro? You were playable. This set kind of sucks dong, no? Lob of Tar, fuck that card, hate that card. At least the Navigator has basically made the game what it is at this point. Every deck plays at least the Navigator now, and it's kind of boring, kind of dung. I'm gonna be honest. I think this might be a B. This might be a D. Timeways, I think, was good. I think the Fable mechanic ended up being a lot cooler than I anticipated. But again, like this is where I'm at. Like I haven't played a lot of Standard during Timeways. For me, it's like I couldn't really give you a good rating on Timeways whatsoever. I am gonna say this, man. I kind of hope I'm inspired to play Hearthstone going into the next set, because I kind of miss playing the game. I'll put this in like C as well. I mean, I don't know if this tier list is. This one's really tough because I didn't play a lot of it. I think Ungoro had a lot of just. The whole set is just funny thinking about what it was and what the namesake is, and then. I think Emperor of the Dream has the chance. Him missing shows how little he played in recent times. Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean him missing? Missing what?